Alright everybody, welcome to the video for lesson number 1 for unit number 3. So for today's lesson we learned how to solve systems of equations algebraically. So to be able to do that we want to use substitution. So we want to be able to solve one equation for either x or y and plug it into the other one. So let's take a look at number 1. So for number 1 I see this equation, that's my linear equation. It's always easier to solve the linear equation for x or for y. So if I subtract 2x to the other side, I get negative y is equal to negative 2x plus 13, or y is equal to positive 2x minus 13. Just by changing all the signs I can do that. So what that tells me I can do is I can take all of this and plug it in for y here. So if I rewrite that, I'm going to wind up getting 2x minus 13 is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 3. If I set this equal to 0, because anytime I see x squared I know I need to do that, so I'd subtract 2x and add 13 to both sides, I get 0 equals x squared minus 8x plus 16, which luckily for us is totally factorable. X minus 4, x minus 4, and I get an x value of 4. Notice both are going to be the same solution, so I don't have to do it twice. Once I know the x value is 4, I'm going to figure out what the y value is. So if I plug into y equals 2 times 4 minus 13, so I'm essentially just plugging in there, I get y is equal to negative 5. So my solution is 4 comma negative 5. Remember to write your solution as ordered pairs. Number 2 is very similar to one that we did in class. So both of these y values are the same, so I can set them equal to each other. So now I have x squared minus x minus 6 equals 3x minus 6. So if I subtract 3x and add 6, I get x squared minus 4x equals 0. Remember about GCF, so I have x minus 4 equals 0. So I have x equals 0 and I have x equals 4 as my two x value solutions. If I plug those in, so I have y equals 3 times 0 minus 6 and y equals 3 times 4 minus 6, I get y equals negative 6 and I get y equals positive 6. So that means my two solutions are going to become 0, negative 6 and 4, positive 6. I could totally check these easily in my calculator since they're both equal to y, just by plugging in and seeing where they intersect. Not too bad. Number 3 was definitely the most challenging out of all of them. So the first thing I did was I noticed that this first equation could be easily solved for x by subtracting 2y to the other side. I want to solve for x because if I solve for y I get a fraction, and I know you and you know me, I don't want to deal with fractions if we don't want to. So instead of x, I'm going to put in negative 2y. So I have negative 2y minus 1 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 5. Now I want to multiply all this out so that I get a polynomial that I can try and solve. If you're not good at the mental math thing, remember you could always use your boxes. So you do your negative 2y, negative 1, negative 2y minus 1, and multiply all that out. Well, that first parenthesis multiplies out to 4y squared plus 4y plus 1. If you do the whole box thing for the second one, right, you do y minus 1, y minus 1, you're going to get y squared minus 2y plus 1, and that's all equal to 5. Combine some like terms here. So I have 5y squared plus 2y plus 2 equals 5. Subtract 5 to the other side. And now I have something that hopefully is factorable, and it is. So to factor this, remember you're going to use that AC method. So A and C multiply to make negative 15. Oh, I'm running low. Let's get some batteries. Don't die on me, computer. Oh, we are back in business. All right, so if I get that negative 15 up here, then that means what multiplies to make negative 15 but adds to make 2? That's 5 and negative 3. So I have 5y squared plus 5y minus 3y minus 3 equals 0. First two terms, I have a GCF of 5y, giving me y plus 1. Second, have negative 3, giving me y plus 1 as well. So I get two factors, y plus 1 and 5y minus 3. Y equals negative 1 is a solution, and y equals positive 5/3, or 3/5, sorry, is a solution. Now, if you're not a fraction person and you want to use a decimal, that's fine. 3/5 is the same as 0.6. Now, once you know that, I have to figure out the y values that match. So I'm going to use x equals negative 2y for that. So x equals negative 2 times negative 1. That generates 2. And x equals negative 2 times 3/5. Well, that's going to give us negative 6/5. So our 2 points of intersection are going to become 2 comma negative 1. Remember to put the x first, the y second. I know that seems silly, but it's a common mistake. And negative 6/5 comma 3/5. Before anybody asks tomorrow, yes, I would be expecting you to be able to solve something like number 3 on a quiz or a test. That's about as high of a level of difficulty as we have. We're going to be practicing this skill in class again tomorrow, so make sure if you have questions, you ask them then. Hopefully this video helps, and good luck with your homework.